Hello and welcome to episode 9 of my Flosstube channel. It's the Interlocking Loops Flosstube channel, and my name is Angela, your host. It's been a little while since we talked. I thought it was probably about time. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to see some of my projects, some of those type of things, and that's Interlocking Loops on Instagram. And I try to have pictures on the blog of the projects as I get them finished as well. And that's www.interlockingloops.com. All right, I want to have a disclaimer. I talked earlier in the year that I was planning on having some fully finished objects as a usual thing. Well, that's not working out so well. I have the best of intentions, but I will say we've been extremely busy. We've had a lot going on between our son having one job, quitting that one for another job this summer, and then getting into grad school, to our daughter having a course, a research course this summer, and needing to be taken up for that, and then she's coming back this next week. To my schedule at work has been crazy, and my dad has had open heart surgery here in the last 10 days, which hasn't left a lot of time for creative endeavors, a lot of time for worrying, and I found that actually knitting is a little bit easier for me to take, and I'll show you a little bit about that coming up. So no fully finished objects. I'm just lucky to get the stitching time that I am getting and going on from there. So let's talk about finished objects. I have 2 of those, so that's a good thing. They're both from Stitch Mania, and one of them is the Yankee Doodles pattern by Lizzie Kate, and I like the patriotic. And I have one of them finished. It calls for finishing some of the firework portion with beads. I didn't do that, but I think it looks nice with pop at the bottom. So next year I'll have that fully finished, and I'll have that in a display. So, and that I believe was 14 to 16 count Ada, coffee tea dyed. So that's finished, and that's a wonderful thing. Let's see. I don't really have anything to hold up behind it very well, but we'll go with another project bag. So this is Roveris, the farm chart. I modified it a little bit, partly because I wanted to be able to move on, part of it. There should be more fencing and more flowers over on the side. I cut that short. There should be another chicken nest without a chicken. I wondered where the chicken was. Bothered me enough that it didn't look like there were actually eggs in it, just more feathers, so it was vacant. I don't know. I felt like I didn't need to have that in there. So that's actually not on white fabric. It's on ivory, but you can't really tell that in the picture. So the actual chart looks like this, and there's supposed to be a trim that goes on the fully finished, and I still have that, and since I haven't fully finished it, I don't have to worry about doing anything with that yet. So that's done. So I have been getting some things accomplished. Okay, things I've been working on. Have been Holiday Hoopla, 4th of July by With Thy Needle and Thread. I had a terrible time trying to find some place to buy this from, and Black Cat Stitchery was able to come through for me. So it's hard to tell from the picture, but his beard's actually done in whisper floss, so it has dimension to it, which makes it really neat as well. I worked on that here lately on coffee tea dyed fabric as well. That's coming along pretty well. All in DMC colors. And those same DMC colors, for the most part, are the same ones I used on that Lizzie Kate pattern I showed up that was finished. So this also, Holiday Hoopla, is something I'm going to mention here in a minute, as far as what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So another thing that I've been working on, I have a lot of these Lizzie Kate strings, And if you remember, I did some earlier. This was one that I've just started, the Buzzy String by Lizzie Kate. Try to keep the glare down. I tend to start my projects in the middle of the pattern. I try to find that and start from there. And I did that with this one again. And this is on Ada 14 count toffee colorway. And starting in the middle of the string, you've got some greenery and some ladybugs. So who doesn't like a good ladybug? So those two projects are part of the projects I'm doing for 24 hours of cross stitch. I'm following along loosely in that, so the July challenge spells out Team 24 Hour and trying to find a pattern, fabric, etc. that kind of goes with each one of those letters. The third one I've started for that very thing is done with a lot of fancy floss this time. The Plum Street Samplers Spring Salt Boxes. Remember I purchased this before? I love this one right down here. So that's the one I've started. And I'm using quite a few different colors of fancy floss for that as well. So lots of pretty colors. Not totally in fancy floss, but quite a bit of it is. And what I've got finished so far, and this is on 16 count fabric, and it's actually looking a whole lot darker here than it really is, and that's the first house, the lighter colored one. So that's coming along well. What I did when I actually dyed this fabric is I took, I'd soaked the Ada cloth, and then I took the coffee tea dyed solution that I had, and I wrinkled up some paper towels, and I dabbed it in that and then on the fabric. And I'm sure that there's no way you can tell here, but it has more of a model look to it, which I think looks nice. So yeah, that's the third one out of the 10 things for 24 hours of stitching. So I'm trying to keep track of the time I'm stitching as opposed to actually how many stitches I do, that type of thing. And it's just kind of something to do a little bit different. So as far as the other things that will eventually be part of that, I'll go over those. The hands-on design Star Spangled Swine Farm. I'm going to be stitching one of these. I know a lot of you have seen this. I'll probably be doing the small to start with. The little pillow. And yes, I've got 14 count Ada chalkboard black to use. It'll be my first time trying that, so that's why I went with the 14 count. I thought maybe I could see that a little bit better. It looks like a real dark gray. Pretty reminiscent actually of chalkboard. And I bought this from Down Sunshine Lane, and she had part of the flosses that go with it too, that I purchased that as well. So that will be another one of the projects I'm going to be starting in the month of July. Another one, because last year I had this fit about watermelons, needing to have watermelons. Summer means watermelons. All dolled up by Little House Needleworks, counter cross stitch with Pretty's fresh watermelon pattern. Don't you just love that watermelon? So that's another one I'll be starting. I'm not even sure what fabric yet. That's to be determined. One of those kind of things. Now I have a few others that are sharing the same project bag at the moment. Little House Needleworks Hot Cocoa. all done. That will be all done in DMC. I think that'll be a nice little pillow to do something kind of over winter. Type of winter pillow for a display. Another Little House Needleworks Deer Valley Inn. Will be done in DMC as well. And the last one in the same project bag is another one of the All Dolled Up by Little House Needleworks. And you remember I purchased this not too long ago. This is the Red House in Winter. And I do have the fancy floss that comes with it. The Red House, because I just love that. So, and that's Bing Cherry. And I believe that's a, yes, Classic Colorworks Bing Cherry. So variegated red. Okay. I see I don't have a ton of battery time left, so I'll try and be as quick as I can. Alright. Another one I'm going to work on is by Lihoo Stitches. Little Summer Fling. That's a cute one I bought, I believe, from Fat Quarter Shop here not too long ago. A nice little small with a kind of a summer theme. I know I have strawberries in my refrigerator right at this moment, as a matter of fact. Okay, so you could see my progress on those on the next Flosstube. As far as, oh, the last one. I have it in a slightly different place because the table I have now is not real big. It's Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street Sampler. This one, if you remember, is one of my Stitch 9 that I have not done a whole lot on, but I need to get moving on that one to try to get it done. I love all these little pumpkins. Oh, they're adorable. So it's a fairly sizable pattern for me. As you remember, most of the time I do the smalls, and this is what I have done so far. So, not a lot. I have a lot more to go. But you got to start somewhere, right? I started this last year and then kind of got off track with trying to do Christmas things, so hopefully this will be, summer and fall will be the time I can actually get it finished. So I'm going to go over stuff that seems to be acquisitions. Now I haven't done a Flosstube in a little bit, and with all the upheaval kind of personally that's been going on here, I may have shown you part of these before, so bear with me. This is part 5, Hot Cocoa by Jack Frost Tree Farm by Little House Needleworks. It's a hot cocoa stand with a little gal behind the counter. That's adorable. Let's see, what else do I have here? Give Thanks Pincushion. I was very much into pumpkins. Keeping that going. The Scarlet House, Pumpkins and Bittersweet. Another pumpkin pillow. I couldn't decide, so I have them both. Another one that will be nice, kind of for some wintry Christmas to go with hot cocoa, is this All Dolled Up Peppermint Twist pattern by Little House Needleworks. I saw someone else doing this one. I thought that was adorable. And let's see, Cottage Country Christmas Cookies. This one was a hard one to track down, but as you see, I was finally successful. I don't know, those old-fashioned mixing bowls. I have a thing for the old-fashioned Pyrex as well. You may see that here in a little bit with something else if I have time to show. I purchased from Lila Studio, which I didn't think I was ever purchased something like this, so never say never. More of a sampler, the Halloween Quaker. And she has a site on Etsy. Isn't that something? Yeah, I normally don't do anything Halloweenish. I prefer more fall. You never know, things change. Let's see. And I may have shown this before. Gobble Gob from Plum Street Samplers. I have several of the other little in the series. I can't forget what. Maybe that's clearer. Little House Needleworks Farm Life. I love the barn. I love the big house. Things that may be hard to see on here, there's sheep. Looks like there's dairy cows on here. There's pumpkins, corn on the cob. I like all the farmy goodness. I do have a couple of the other hands-on design patterns. Automaker's Farm. Here we go again with the pumpkins. Here's Cottontail Farm, and I actually ordered some chalk floss to go with it, and you'll see that in the bottom of the picture. I really like this small too. Not that I dislike any of the others, but I think that's what I'll start with. So there's a cool truck over here. That'd be another nice thing to kind of pull out of there and make a small from. What'd I say about the Halloween thing? Yeah, guess what? Spirits and Spells by Brenda Gervais. It's got to be the cutest little witch. Alright, let's see. And the thing that I'm over the moon about, I kid you not, I purchased a bag from So Much to Love. From her Etsy store, I believe it is. I saw it on another Flosstuber's video. Kathy? No, I can't think of her name. She's around the Omaha area. And I think she belongs to the club. And here's the bag. Typically, I really like the kind with the vinyl pocket. I just love this fabric. And if I could have found the fabric, I might have bought one, but... And that's sew, SEWMUCH, to love, to LUV.com on Etsy. Here's the back side, just as absolutely gorgeous. And I bought the little kind of accessory pouch that has a zipper on it too. So cute, cute, cute. Okay, for the last thing we'll talk about today will be the knitting. I mentioned I love the Pyrex thing. This holds my DPNs from sliding off the project with vintage Pyrex pattern fabric. These socks are made out of Trekking XXL yarn, which is a great workhorse yarn. In fingering weight, variegated blues. And I'm working on a pair of socks for my husband. So these are knit from the cuff down, 72 stitches, a 2x2 ribbing, and then knit, heel flap and gusset, and I'm heading on down the foot. So he wears a lot of blue, lots and lots of blue. So these will be good socks for him to wear to work. Okay, if anybody has any questions, feel free to find me on Instagram if you can. You can leave a comment below. And if you like what you're seeing and want to be sure not to miss any videos, be sure to, you can like the video, but be sure to subscribe. And you can hit that little bell button to make sure you get every single episode brought to you with notification. And until we talk again, happy stitching. Bye-bye.